Hey everyone, it's Darren. Welcome. Today we're doing the second of a four-part series on how to move data in and out of Excel. First video was all about moving data into Excel from other data sources, from other programs, that data that people send you. Today's video, we're going to be talking about how to get data into Excel from web pages that's not necessarily formatted very well for importing, and also how to clean up data if it comes to you. Sometimes it comes kind of dirty. Third video is going to be how to send data out so that other programs can use it. And finally, the fourth video is all about how to compress and clean up your data so you can send that out to other people, get around problems like files too big to email, that sort of thing. Uh, so, four-part series. Please do check out the other ones as well. I have links down in the description as these videos are coming out. Uh, but let's jump right into it. So let's take a look at our first web page here. And this is a election data web page. Uh, so I have a bunch of data, and looking at this, let's say you wanted to use this for something. Very, very clearly, this should go perfectly well into a spreadsheet, right? Uh, so let's see what we can do. The easiest thing to do, if you can get away with it, and it does not always work, is select the data you want. Try to avoid selecting anything outside the table that you don't want. And then we'll just do Control C to copy it. And then we'll go over to Excel and we'll do Control V. And it looks like we got pretty lucky here. Everything seems to have come in pretty well. The one thing I don't like is that I have these as hyperlinks. Uh, oh, actually, excuse me. I just tell it to remove hyperlinks. Okay. And all my data came in really easy. You'll always want to take a look at it, especially make sure your last row and your first row of data are correct. That's Alabama to Wyoming, which sounds right. Also, make sure that you don't have any weird, like, stray columns, because sometimes it'll do things like shift some of your stuff over a column or two, and that creates problems. But it doesn't look like it did that to us this time. So that's the easiest way. That's really straightforward way to get your data in. Uh, but to be fair, this was really simple data. Let's go to something a little bit more complex. So if we come over here and bring that browser back up again, and let's come over to here. Okay, so here we have these little flags and footnotes and all sorts of stuff all over the place here. I will say that I hate the flags. Uh, they don't do anything for me data wise. But we'll go ahead and work with it anyway. Okay, so we'll try the same thing. So we're going to try to just select the data. Make sure I've got everything here. Okay. See, the problem here is as soon as I put it here, okay, it's going to let me select it. Sometimes it won't let you select just in the table. You wind up selecting everything out of the table as well. Okay. Let's do Control C. This is JavaScript that's coming up here causing that problem. Let's go over to here. And what if we do Control V? Okay. So we got most of the data in, but I've got hyperlinks here. I've got these annoying little flags here. I got hyperlinks here. I got footnotes here. Um, so if I tell it to remove hyperlinks, it gets rid of the hyperlinks there. Remove hyperlinks here, gets rid of the hyperlinks there. But those flags are a pain, and if you sort them, the flags don't move, believe it or not. So you have to go through select one, delete it, select one, delete it, select one, delete it, and that's no fun at all. So what other options do we have? Well, sometimes you just have to clean stuff up. So let's come over here and go back into the browser again. And I'm actually just going to let it select some extra stuff off the end here. So I think now it's probably got all the stuff off the bottom too. Yep, it does. Okay. And I'm going to copy this because remember, sometimes that you aren't able to select just the table that captures stuff outside. I'm going to go into Word here. Let's open up Word. You can open up any word processor you like, doesn't matter. Right. Here we go. Just a blank document. If I just do Control V, it'll take a minute because it has all of those links to process through. It gets all of this garbage, and you still have all the flags and everything else in there, which is not what you wanted. So I'm going to undo that with Control Z. Now, Excel has paste values but doesn't have paste text. Paste values still brings in all the garbage. Uh, on the other hand, Word does have a paste text. Okay, that's the bottom. Let's go take a look at the top here where our data is. And now if you see here, this looks like the data we want with a bunch of extra garbage. So let's get rid of the garbage. Okay, so I'll get rid of this stuff here. You'll see the flag's gone. I'm going to run down to the bottom here to the end of my data. I'm going to go get rid of all of this other stuff off the bottom that it copied in because I don't want that. And it may take a minute to get through it because there's a lot there. There's a whole lot there. It references where it found the data for population for each country here. And I'm going to get rid of that. Okay. So now I have this information here. So now I will do Control A, Control C. Control A, select all. Control C is copy. Go back over to Excel. And I'm going to try to paste it in there. And now you see I have way cleaner data. This looks like something I could work with. There's a few that are a little funny, like this one here. Some of these numbers aren't here. Uh, but if you look at the original source data, so we're looking at Taiwan. Let's go back and look at Taiwan on the original sheet. What number was that? That was 56. There it is. Taiwan in the original sheet, it had no number there. So in this case, it actually imported what it was supposed to import, uh, but it didn't get it. So, and again, always check your first and last line. First line's China and India. Last line is Pitcairn Islands. Come over here. Last line, Pitcairn Islands. First line, China and India. You see, these are a little bit messed up, but those are easy enough to fix. So that's, and here's another example of where it shifted everything over by one. So that's not a big deal. So we just come in here and we just need to insert, shift rows to the right. There we go. That one's cleaned up. That one should be a 1, not a B. That's a 2. Does all my other data look like it's right? Um, Everything else is looking good. Okay. So that's how you bring stuff in from the web when your data is a little bit messier. Before we go on to talk about the next part, though, I do need your help to keep this channel going. A few things you can do that are completely free. If you hit like and hit subscribe and notify, that would really help out the channel. That tells YouTube send more people this way. Feel free to comment. That also helps out a lot. I also have a Patreon page at patreon.com/data analysis excellence. If you could help out there, a few bucks a month for memberships, that would really help out the channel a lot. Okay, on to the next important part when you're bringing data in from the web. And this part's very important. And most people don't think that much about it. Just because data is on the web doesn't mean it's free. It doesn't mean you can do whatever you want with it. Copyright laws exist in pretty much every country. They're different in every country, unfortunately, and how they apply. So I'm working in the U.S. If somebody's looking at this in Canada, are things different? They can be. Um, so if you're doing something for strictly personal use, probably no one's going to care. Let's say that you're moving somewhere and you want to find a new house that's within 25 miles of your new job, and you have kids, you want to make sure they have a good school. Okay, so you find one table that has median home prices within 25 miles, median home prices by zip code, and you pull all of them within 25 miles. Find another site that has school ratings by zip code, and you pull those in, combine them, take a look down the list. You don't want to go to the most expensive neighborhood in the region. That makes no sense. You'll sacrifice just a tiny bit of school quality to have a house that costs half as much. That works. Um, no one's going to care if you do that, honestly. However, if you then decide, hey, this is a great system, I'm going to do this as a service, I'm going to sell this service to people, now they're going to care. If you're putting this up as a web page, especially put advertising on it, or a charge to use it, where you got that data, they're probably going to start to care about that. So make sure that if you're using the data, that you're using it legitimately. Fair use rules exist. They generally allow for some form of personal use, generally some educational use, as long as you're not significantly diminishing the value of the data. They generally do not allow commercial use, for profit use, uh, and that includes ads on a web page, unless you have permission from where the data came from. And keep in mind, where you found the data may not be where it came from. Uh, I pull population data off Wikipedia uh, and using it for educational use, it's fair use. Wikipedia didn't generate their own population data. That's what all those things at the bottom were about. That was all of the sources they used. Uh, so you have to just be careful if you try to use this for anything commercial or anything for profit, or if you're republishing data. Uh, so always keep that in mind. But really, that's all there is to it. Sometimes you'll have to clean up a little more than others. Sometimes you'll just bring it into Word. Remember to do it as a paste plain text in Word or any editor, really, just to make it easier to clean up all that stuff. It cleans up a little easier there than Excel sometimes. And you can bring it into Excel, double check, make sure that you didn't shift over a row or lose a column or something. Uh, but that's it. Hopefully you learned something from this. I have two more videos coming out in this series. Next video coming out is about how to export your data from Excel so that other programs can use it. And then finally, the last video will be how to export data from Excel in a way that makes it easy for other people to use it. So be sure to check those out. And until then, have a great day.